Hi, guys. I'm Carol Rowe, and welcome to my podcast. It's time to talk. I decided to share from my book entitled Overcoming, chapter 26, entitled The Only Thing That Keeps Me Going. The reason why I have chosen that title for that chapter is because I was going through a difficult time whilst I was living in another county. And this has to do with the breaking up of me and my partner and the things that he had put me through. During that time of my, discouragement and bewilderment, I felt lonely. I didn't know where to turn or who to turn to except to my faith. As I always talk about my faith, in my different podcasts and, wherever I do get the opportunity, that my faith is very much important to me, and I would never exchange my faith for nothing else here on earth. My reason is I've seen God shown up in the most difficult time of my life, and I've decided that because I've known God. Yes, some people can talk about God, but if you ask them if they have ever had an encounter with Him, you know, some don't really have that recollection to say, yes, I've vividly had that recollection or encounter, with whom they trust or they believe in, or whom they think their creator is. But for me, I've had an encounter which I would love to share with you this afternoon, and it's from page 99, where I've discussed in my book how I had been betrayed by my ex. It is sad to see, when two people meet each other, how much you can flood each other with that overwhelming, feeling of love. But when things get sour, the true person start to come to the surface. And this is what I had experienced from this guy who had took me down a road of, I would say it came with so much surprise, because I didn't know that he would really do some of the things that he had done to me. And I don't have really time to discuss everything, in depth. But if you want to know more about the story, I would signpost you to my website at the end of this podcast for you to, go on my website and you can download the book, and you can have a read to this story. Yeah, so when I talk about the topic that I've decided to, use in this podcast, where my faith had really and truly lift me up to a height, I would say, that really helped me to cope. I was struggling for somewhere to live because, me and my children, we were thrown out of our apartment or being harassed, and I had to leave with them. So I end up in a refuge. And during the time when I was in the refuge, I started to experiencing a bit of difficulty because of my immigration status, and for that reason, we were asked to leave again. So, I hit rock bottom, and I, felt all alone, deserted. And with all of that come humiliation. I felt ashamed, and I felt that I've let down my children. But during the time of struggles, and going through all those different emotions, God was there. He was just waiting, to step in at the right time. And I remember the landlord for the bread and breakfast, when he asked us to leave, because what had happened, social services had canceled, the arrangement for us to live there. And because they said that our immigration status wasn't being confirmed by Home Office, so we were almost, about to go out in the cold. That's one December 2002. I'll never forget that date. And yes, when I put everything outside the door of the bed and breakfast, accommodation, the landlord said to me, I can't allow you to go out in the cold with these children. I had three children at the time, and he said to me, if it was your loan, then you could have, I would let you go, but because of the children, you know you come back in, and upon returning back inside, he started to inquire who is responsible for these children. Now, I was an immigrant, yeah, or I am an immigrant, I should say, because the status, still stand as it is. I wasn't born here. I migrated to the United Kingdom, at age 33. So I left my country, Jamaica, all because of domestic violence. So I fled it. It was a physical, encounter there. But when I came here, with this individual that I'm talking about, I experienced it emotionally and psychologically because he couldn't have his own way with me. It was like three of us became pregnant for this man, and I decided, no, I'm not going to live in that sort of lifestyle. And I realized that these men in this country, because they may have their citizenship, they take disadvantage of immigrants. You know, you feel as if, he could have controlled me, but I'm a strong-willed person, and I decided to rise up and, fight my way through. Even when he sponsored me, he wrote to Home Office and he tried to destroy me, saying that I came to the country and destroy his relationship. He didn't have one because he was just running from pillar to post, from different women home to, one after the other. So when I realized that that's how he was living, I take on the initiative to, withdraw from the relationship, and that make it become sour. In case of people want to wonder, why, how did I find myself in that situation? Why was the man treating me like that? So that was the main reason why he decided to treat me the way he did. However, things turn out that God, you know, didn't leave me. And during that time, yeah, he came when the gentleman asked who was responsible for us because he was a sponsor, so he felt a bit ashamed and guilty. So he came for us. He took us to, flat that I knew we had. The stories in my book if you want to hear more about that accommodation and what had happened. I didn't just jump into a relationship, but this man was so cunning and very skilled in hiding things. So, he took me to the accommodation, and, sadly, a woman was there with a child, and he told me after 3 weeks I have to leave. So, things became so rough, and, I was going through Brixton Market and met a friend that prayed me off before I came here to the UK. I met her again, and she came home with me to where I was staying. She stayed with me. She prayed with me, and I trust God. And when she left, she said, I'm coming back to you. And with that, God opened doors that when she came back to pick up her things, she brought somebody with her, and then I, you know, experienced God's goodness. But I just want to share something before I go any further. And one night I was, praying in my room, sitting room where I was staying, that, I said I had difficulty and would have to leave. And, upon praying, late night, early morning, about 2 o'clock, there was a voice, I tell you, in the dark, came out from the wall and said, Carol, if you trust me, I would bless you. So I just share that with you. If you want to know more, I'm going to tell you how to get access to the book. So for those who don't, have a faith or don't believe there's a God, in your most difficult time, the most trying times, if you believe in God, if you put your trust in Him, He will come through for you. He won't leave you. He promised that He won't leave you. So this is just an encouragement for those who are struggling. Things seems rough, like, it will never end and nothing, would turn out, positive for you. Just hang on in there. My story, if you read it, you will realize this is a woman that had gone through many trials, but God take me out, and where I am today, thank God, I'm in a better place. I live in a 3-bedroom house. My children are done, who finished school, they're gone through university, who doing, they're doing well, and I'm in a better place. I've authored 2 books. I am a playwright, and I'm working on my project. So if you want to know more, visit bigcreations.co.uk and find out more about my work that I'm doing. And this is for somebody who is struggling, that at the end of the tunnel there is light. Don't give up. Don't give up. Just hang on in there. And if you need someone to encourage you, I'm here. You can reach out to me and I will be there, just to give you, some support. Whatever support I can give you, I will give you. And for those women who are fleeing domestic violence, again, visit bigcreations.co.uk and get in touch, and I'll get in touch with you. Thanks very much for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Catch you soon. Bye bye. Hi, guys.